Peace.
Peace.
So, we're back again, you and
Yes.
me, for
Yeah.
another Quran reading for those who want to listen, and obviously, there are not many who want to listen. And so, today, as we talked about earlier, we'll read in the first half hour or so the beginning of chapter 20, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And then whoever has any questions on that, they can ask or put the questions in the comments or ask after the reading finished.
Yeah.
And other than that, salam to Samar and Imran. And after that, then anybody can come on and ask questions. And I'm going to drop the link as usual here and pin it so whoever has the courage to come and speak directly, they can. I had an interaction last week, which I have to say before we start. So this um, person who said that sign number 144 in chapter 2, when I put up a short where I was saying that where in the sequence does it say you have to point to the mosque the sanctified, to Kaaba, they say the mosque the sanctified, to pray? And he answered immediately, chapter 2, sign 144, or his statement was ayah, which is a sign, but they like to say, call them as ayah or verse, whatever, they can call them whatever they want. And he immediately says there, and just one line as if he's got me. And then I answered to him that, where does it say to turn and pray there in this? And then he didn't answer. And then he said, why are you quiet? He didn't listen to my answer. So I said again, where does it say to pray in that direction? Blind, deaf, and dumb, you will not return except to hell. He said, you're blind. You can't see it. You can't accept you're wrong. And I'm like, that's the end of that. Because the moment they see that, to turn your face in the direction of the mosque sanctified, immediately in their mind, there it goes to pray. What else can it be when I've
Exactly.
explained what it should be, right? So
That's
the
correct.
moron, they cannot understand. Once you've believed in your mind something, you will see it wherever you turn. There's nothing else you will see except that what you believe. And people say, oh, we believe what we see. Absolute error, wrong, a lie, falsehood. You see what you believe. You don't believe what you see.
Yeah.
And that's the opposite of what you've been taught, yeah, all your lives.
Hmm.
Nonsense, absolute. So I just let, yeah, delete that comment and block him from comments in the future. They cannot be helped. You have to understand. They cannot be helped.
Yes, it's a very hard place, and in the Quran it says so many places to pray, and nowhere does it mention that any direction or how to pray, and it just says remember God,
Exactly.
remember God, and we glorify God, and and you talk to Him about your own situation, your own problems, what you're struggling with, and what you need help with, and uh,
Yeah,
you
no,
know.
no. They need to regurgitate nonsense they've been taught all their life without understanding what nonsense they're uttering from their mouths.
Yeah,
That's prayer, yeah.
yeah,
These morons. The
yeah.
Christians are the best, are they? In prayer. No, no, they're not the best. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm just relatively speaking. The Christians are the ones who actually pray because they talk to God.
Yeah.
The so-called Muslims and so-called Jews, they regurgitate nonsense every other hour or hour and a half. The Muslims and the Jews 2 3 times a day, whatever it is. It's a bunch of nonsense. I mean, it, you're supposed to prostrate to God and pray to God, right?
That's
And
correct.
over anyone else you want to, like the messengers, the prophets. But the book says clearly, where what you turn, there face of God. So why do you have to point anywhere to pray to God? Particular. You can point anywhere, not anywhere particularly. A bunch of nonsense, yeah, complete nonsense. And
Yeah.
then my example that I gave you last week was that if say that it is to point to the mosque the sanctified in Makkah to pray, right? And so if that's the case, then when they're inside the mosque, why are they prostrating to the Kaaba?
That's correct.
Inside the mosque, you can point in any direction because all directions you're pointing, you're inside it, so it doesn't matter. And right there, they're going around in stupid circles, uh, acting like monkeys and apes and prostrating to a rock, which God has never told us to do in any way, shape, or form, to prostrate to any rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's told the angels to prostrate to Adam. He commanded, or he made happen, the prostration of the 11 sons of Jacob and his woman to Joseph. He made it happen. And he commands all of you to prostrate to the command of the messengers. So that's what he's commanded you to prostrate. You guys prostrate to the sun, the moon, the rocks, the wall, the Jews, and you prostrate to lies. Yeah, you create the messengers into the lies you want them to be, and then you prostrate to them. That's what they told us, so we're prostrating to that. So you make your own god and then you prostrate to it. What a bunch of nonsense. Yeah, complete garbage. Anyway, so today let's start this chapter
20.
20, and then wherever we get till in the first whatever 20-30 minutes, then we will move on to any questions. Okay, so let's start. So the chapter 20 is called Taha, which are two letters of the Arabic letter language, and with name of the God, the Almighty, the Merciful. So now again, to reiterate, the Spirit is talking to hear the messenger when it starts, and I'll explain. So he says, the Spirit, it was Gabriel, by the way, just to reiterate for people who don't know, the Holy Spirit, not we send down over you the Quran to your splitting. So he's telling me and any messenger, Muhammad and every messenger after him, that we don't send the Quran over you to your splitting. And what does this mean? That it's not to make me split within me, inside of me. I will split from everyone on the earth, obviously. When I read this Quran and I deliver this Quran and everybody rejects it, which is what has happened in the last 18 odd years, then I will split from all of them. But the Quran is not being sent down over me to my splitting. So I'm not going to split, but I will split from you. Nuance. Except reminders to one he fears. So that's why he sent down the Quran on me, God and the Spirit, and whoever else inspires me from the Quran. It has only been sent down over me to remind one who fears. Fears what, you think? God.
God.
Sent down from one who created the earths and the heavens, the high. So that's where this Quran is coming down from. The one who created, who is that? God, obviously. The Almighty over the throne sits. To him what in the heavens and what in the earths, and what between them both, and what beneath the soil. So here it's confirming anything that you can imagine is to God. So we own nothing, fundamentally. It's to God. All of it is to God. He gives us and he takes from us. We don't own it. And if you open with the saying, but surely he knows the secrets and hidden. So whether you say it openly from your mouth or you hide it in your heart or your soul, he knows it. So you can't hide it from him. You can hide it from mankind, but you cannot hide it from God, whatever it is that you are trying to hide. So with God, you might be wanting to be open and say what you actually mean in your soul, what your heart actually desires, good or evil. He knows it. If you don't address it, there's no way you're going to get over the issue that you're in. The God, no God except he. To him the names, the good. So now those who say God can only be called God or Yahweh or Om or Allah, no. To him the names are good. All good names belong to God. So now the Spirit says to me, and has come to you story of Moses. So obviously I didn't know anything about Moses till I read the Quran, except nonsense that was fed to me by the morons walking over the earth. So the question is kind of like tongue in cheek. I thought I knew, didn't I? But when I read this Quran, I understood that I had no clue about the reality. And the story of Moses is the most elaborate, detailed, intricate story of any messenger of God in the Quran, by far, by leaps and bounds, by a so called country mile. It is the most detailed story of any messenger because one of the reasons is because that was the end of the message of God in its entirety. Everyone after that that came, including Muhammad and Jesus, reiterated that message that came to Moses, which was the Torah, which had the book, the wisdom, and the law, which mankind is supposed to follow, and they follow none of it.
Yes.
So now he says, behold, saw fire, but he said to his keepers. So where is this? It is in Jerusalem, in the valley which is between the Temple Mount and what they call the Mount of Olives, which is not actually the Mount of Olives. You can call it because there are olive trees growing on it, fig and olive trees growing on the side of that mount, but it is Mount Sinai. That is Mount Sinai, which is on the other side or the eastern side of the Temple Mount, and between that is a valley, and he's there at that place where his keepers, he saw fire, and he said to his keepers, who are whoever is traveling with him, when he left Madian, which is Tiberias today, and he's reached this place where he see the fire. So what does he tell his keepers? Tarry, surely I sense fire. Maybe I bring you from her with capturing, or I find over the fire guidance. But when came to her was called. So this is the whole story of the burning tree. And when he came to her, it was called. And this is God speaking to Moses now. O Moses, surely I, your Lord, but remove your sandals. Surely you with the valley, the holy of Tuva. That's the valley I just spoke to you about between the Temple Mount and Mount Sinai, or what you guys call Mount of Olives. And I choose you. But listen to what it inspired. So now, inspired is when people think inspiration is only what comes from within you. No, it can be something that's told to you, that's shown to you, that comes from within your soul, your heart, is inspired in your mind. Whatever thoughts is inspiration. You better be clear on where that inspiration is coming from, and hopefully it's not from Satan. But most of you only get it from Satan. Then what do you say again? Absolutely, surely I the God, no God except I. So serve me and make constant the prayer to my remembrance. So now we talk about prayer. This is the fundamental definition of prayer. What is it? Constant the prayer, make it constant to my remembrance. That's it. That's prayer, to remember God. That is the absolute definition of prayer. How do you remember God? By thinking about Him, by talking to Him, by beseeching Him, by asking His help, aid, whatever you want, directly to Him. Everybody that speaks to God in his soul, in his heart, from his mouth, is being listened to by God, and He will answer. Remember, He might say no to what you want. Surely the hour will come. I hide her, to her repaying every soul with what she strives. So the hour is hidden because we don't know when it's going to, I don't know when it's going to come, the hour of this people, their destruction. It's coming, it's near, that's obvious from the signs that are all around us, but I don't know when it's going to come. And how is it near for me? For me, near is like 10 years, 20 years. For God, near could be 50, 80 years. I don't know. But it's near because they have done what they're supposed to do to bring on the punishment of God, so that He may repay every soul with what she strives. So here, she strives is soul, and every soul is a female, by the way. We are all females intrinsically, the soul that we are, not this body. But don't He surely stop you over her? One, not he believes with her and follows his thoughts, but turned. So he's warning Moses, don't follow one who doesn't believe with the hour out of death, out of punishment, out of the end, whatever. The whatever is going to come when the end comes, whether your death comes before the punishment, the R is a multi-layered event. For each soul, the R is her death. For each people, the R is the destruction of God. And at the end, when everything will be destroyed, is the end of this whole construct we're in, this whole nonsense and deception we live in. So, who is the one who follows his thoughts? Who thinks this world is all there is and has no regard to the hereafter after he dies. So, oh, I guess all the world, you mean, my Lord? Exactly. What do you think was happening at the time when Moses came? Exactly what's happening today when I have come. And then he says, what? And what this with your hand, O Moses? So Moses responded, here my staff. I lean over her, and I beat with her over my sheep, and to me in her use is other. So God's is engaging in small talk with Moses here. Yeah? You think God doesn't know what Moses does with his staff? Then God says, so this is the reason coming up to this. God says to Moses, throw her, O Moses. So threw her, but when here alive, she's striving. So the staff became alive and she started wiggling, striving. Then he said, grab her and don't you fear, soon will return her, her shape, the first. So her is the staff here. And push your hand to your wing, comes out bright from other than evil, a sign other. So this is those two things that are written in the Bible as well, by the way, clearly. These are exactly the two signs that are in the Bible. To our showing you from our signs, the great. Go to Pharaoh, surely he transgresses. So this is God's command to Moses. So this is only one aspect of the story of Moses. This has been explained in several different places from different angles and perspectives. This whole equation that is going on right now, this meeting at the burning tree, where God spoke and gave his command and orders to Moses. So what does Moses respond? He says, Lord, cleave to me my chest and ease to me my command, and allow not from my tongue they comprehend my saying. So why is he saying this? People say that Moses was used to stutter. I don't have any knowledge of that. He may have been a stutterer, and the nonsensical, idiotic story the so-called Muslims invent is that he put fire into his tongue that made him stutter. I don't know. I have no knowledge of this, and I don't believe it. Now, he may be a stutterer, but what do you think he wants to allow the not from his tongue that they comprehend his saying? He can't speak. He's speaking to God here, so obviously he can speak. So what is it? You have to imagine in your mind what it is. Yeah, one of the things Moses was like me, in your face. He wouldn't pull punches when he told you stuff. And just like me, I don't pull punches. I don't care. So God, he's asking God to make his allow the knot from his tongue in whichever way so they comprehend his saying. Is it going to help? No, obviously not. And make to me a minister from my keepers, Aaron, my brother. So he's asking God, hey, I want someone to help me. So make a minister from my keepers, Aaron, my brother. Strengthen with him my weight and partner him in my command. So we glorify you much and we remember you much. Surely you are with us watching. So this is the moment God says go to Pharaoh, he says this. Cleave opening my chest. So, make it open. I understand things, inspire me, strengthen me, make my brother a minister with me. So we remember you are with us watching. God responds, have I brought you your asking, O Moses? So immediately God answers there, we brought you. And already we favored over you a turn other. So this favor has been done already. So you'll see later what happened. And already we favored over you a turn other. So now he's telling Moses that, this is a favor that I'm giving you here that you asked me, and already we favored over you. Behold, we inspired to your mother what? It inspired that. So what did Moses' mother get inspired. Push him in the ark, but push it in the water, but it will throw him the water with the shore. He will grab him, enemy to me and enemy to him. So what happened? Moses was thrown in the river in the ark, and Pharaoh's woman picked him up, and he grew in the house of Pharaoh. And I threw over you love from me, and to your growing over my eyes. So that's how God made him grow back then. Behold. So now he's saying what happened. She walked, your sister, but she said, should I tell you over those? They will take care of him. So now his sister was the one who followed him because his mother sent her to follow him. And then she got into the uh, inner sanctum of Pharaoh's residence, and she's telling them, should I tell you over those? They will take care of him. So we returned you to your mother, so she cool her eyes and not she grieve. So now what happened there? The story is clear. If you read it in other places in the Quran and the Bible, that Moses was forbidden from suckling. So he was not drinking milk from anyone. So his sister went and said that I'm going to tell you those who will take care of him, which her mother, obviously, and his mother. And so here Moses will return to his mother, and that's where he grew under her care. Then, and you killed a soul, but we saved you from the confusion. And we tried you trying. So Moses killed a soul. He murdered someone wrongly, obviously. And but God saved him from that confusion. And he was tried. So what was the trial? So you tarried years in keepers of Tiberias, which is Madian, north of Israel today. Then you came over measure, O Moses. So now he's telling him all this is, of course, to prove to Moses. This he's talking to God. Yeah, he knows everything about him, obviously. And I make you aware to my soul. So he's opened his soul to Moses. The only messenger who is of the nature of Moses is Moses himself. God spoke directly to him. He opened his soul to Moses. So Moses could directly communicate with God without any intercessors. Unlike the rest of us who have messengers who come between us and God to inspire, God spoke directly to Moses from man. Yeah, speaks directly to all his angels and the spirit as well. And he says, go you and your brother with my signs, and don't you both stop in my remembrance. So now you understood here. I've answered you. You're asking. Yeah, I brought you. So Aaron was standing next to him already. This is how God works. Yeah? There's no time, space and time does not stop God from acting. Go both to Pharaoh, surely he transgresses. But say both to him, saying tender. Maybe he remembers or he fears. So now God says, go to them, go to Pharaoh and tell him. But don't be too harsh to him. Saying tender to him, maybe he will remember and he fears. Yeah, it's not going to work. Yeah. Doesn't matter how tender you are or how harsh you are to these morons, the idiots that walk the earth, they will not remember and they will certainly not fear anything except losing their wealth and their life on this earth, which both of them they will lose absolutely. Now they both said, so after all this has happened, this is a bit funny, right? But you will see we are all the same. You will see yourself in this. They both said, our Lord, absolutely surely we fear that he will forget over us or that he transgresses. So God is the one telling you to go, and no, he might kill us, he might forget us, he might transgress. So God says, don't you both fear. Absolutely, surely I with you both. I hear and I see. So he's calming them down that, go. You are secure. Take it easy. Now, so they both came to him, to Pharaoh, but they both said, surely we messengers of your Lord. So send with us sons of Israel, and don't you punish them. Have we come to you with signs from your Lord and the peace over one who follows the guidance? Whose guidance? Our guidance. Moses and Aaron. Their guidance. Whoever followed their guidance there'll be peace over them and they'll be secure. Surely we has been inspired to us. Surely the punishment over one who falsifies and turns. So now this is what you see this. God saying tender, and this is what they come and tell Pharaoh, the king, yeah, the leader, their so-called God himself, Lord. He calls himself Lord and God, Pharaoh, and he was made an example to all in front and behind him at the end. So this is how this is I would say this is kind of aggressive, right?
Yes.
I mean, this
I
is
mean,
not tender. I didn't say this bad when I came initially. I didn't say it as badly as this. The later on, I probably got worse than this. Then what does Pharaoh respond? But who, Lord of you both, O Moses? And then Moses one, our Lord, the one who gives everything its creation, then guides. Everything he guides. Yeah? Even the Satan, God guides the Satan. Okay? Everybody is guided by God. Now you will say, oh, so he's evil as well. No, because you decide to be evil, malicious, rejecter, hypocrite, making yourself God, making equals with God, partnering with God, he will guide you to the fire. I mean, what's so difficult in this to understand? And then he says, so what condition of the generations? The first. And Moses responds, their knowledge with my Lord in a book. Not he strays, my Lord, and not he forgets. So which book is this? The book that contains everything, which is referred to as mother of the book in the Quran, which has the book of everyone in it, including yours and mine and every other book, and all the books God sent to all the messengers, and all the messengers' books, which are their lives, are all in this book. Everything is in this book, yeah. And then the one who makes to you the earth a cradle, and this is the spirit now speaking, and slithers to you in her paths and sends down from the heaven fluid, but we take out with it pairs from growth separate. So he sends down and we take out. Who is we and who is he? Understand it, people. The spirit and the angels are we here, and the God is the one who sends down the fluid, and then they bring out pairs from growth separate, the angels and the spirit. Eat and pasture your animals. Surely in that to be signs to those with the insight. Yeah, there are not many of those running around. From her we create you, and in her we will return you. And from her we will take you out a turn other. Understand this. You ain't going anywhere. You ain't going anywhere. Okay? And already we showed him our signs, all of them, but falsified and refused. We will stop here, yeah? Maybe we can continue this next time, right?
yeah,
From
I think so. Yeah.
here we stop, where it's clear to all of us that these morons are never going to believe. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. And those morons that believe will reject, will be hypocritical, will uh, stab you in the back, will be denigrating you left, right, and center.
Yeah.
So, you have any feedback on that or any questions?
Yeah, I was going to say, right, like it already said to repay every soul what she strives for. And then when you talked about guides everything, right? So I mean, if you're striving in this life for the wrong things, so obviously you will be taken to those wrong things, right? So you have to be careful and know that, that it shouldn't be that if we are getting something that means it's good for us. I mean, we have to think it from the book's point of view, that are we making the correct decisions, are we doing the right thing? And God has already said that he will send guidance to us, and one who follows the guidance, not will they fear, and what
Not
is
will
it,
they grieve.
not will they grieve.
So yeah,
Those
I mean, for sure, this is the whole situation, right? When people try striving to be murderers and thugs, they become murderers and thugs eventually. Some of them, right?
that's
But
correct.
not all of them. I mean, God has to help you to become a murderer for you to be a murderer. The other side is whoever intends to do righteousness and strives to do good and say the truth and strive to help people, some of them succeed. Do you think all of them succeed? No, not both sides do not succeed 100%. But your intention is what God is looking for, not
Yes.
your actual 100% success. And your amount of sincerity will determine how successful you will be in any endeavor that you undertake. Absolutely. Whether it be getting the richest man on earth or being the man who feeds the most poor people on earth. I mean, you take your, but what is at the end of the day, what does it matter here?
Yeah.
Nothing. Are you going to feed all the people on the earth
No.
alone? No, you're not. I mean,
No.
if you take all the richest men in the earth, all the top 10%, say, the richest, if you take all their wealth, you think they'll be able to feed all the poor on the earth? No, not unless God wants it.
Yeah.
And you think one man cannot feed all on the earth if God wants him to? Sure, but by yourself, you're not going to do anything.
No.
Your intention is what he's looking for, and then your consistency,
Yeah.
resolve. He didn't find resolve in Adam
Yeah.
because he took from the tree which he was forbidden, and his spouse. Our parents in this world, in this second creation, they were our parents here now. And before, they were not our parents, obviously. When we were in the first creation, we were all created and we were all sustained and we were all together in front of God there when this whole shit show occurred. Yeah. That's what I can say about
The
it.
whole the whole episode happened. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The episode, it was a shit show, obviously. Uh,
Hmm.
and we are here only because Adam asked for forgiveness, him and his spouse.
Yeah.
And the forgiveness is you get tried here, and it's going to be more difficult. It's going to be far more difficult to overcome this trial than it was for the first trial, where it was just one tree in the garden, yeah, where there was no shortage. Here, you don't have like carte blanche sustenance. You have to fight for it here. And on top of that, you've got Satan working on your butt to get you to fall. So here it's much more difficult. But God has given you all the out to look at how Satan works through men and demons and us at times. When you figure it out, you feel ashamed as a believer how God works via Satan to make us fall because we are screwed up, to
Yeah.
show us we're screwed up, to try us, to see whose heart is hardened, and to show the person that his heart is hardened. And will he now soften it to the truth? And then to harden it to the truth rather than to the lies,
Yes.
deception. So, I mean, it's confusing for most people because everything works on the same pattern. There's no two different avenues to do evil and good. You just have one soul and one heart and one mind to work with, right? So the patterns like so-called propaganda or lies or truths, oh, make the lie as big as possible and repeat it over and over and over, and it will become the truth. Well, I can say, make the truth big and repeat it over and over and over, and it will become the truth. Yeah, good, because that's what you want. But they
Yes.
will make the lies and repeat them over and over in front of you and your damn screens that you watch all your lives here. And they will make it absolutely the truth for you, and you will then align yourself with that and strive in that aspect. Be polite to everyone. Don't use those bad words. You know, oh my God, he made the F bomb here, he made the C word over there. And you're like, what? How is that going to make you good or evil? It's the intention that you're using that word for that makes you good or evil.
Yeah.
Evil will be done to these people. There is no two things about it. The evil that mankind has accumulated uh, over this last whatever how many decades or centuries since the last messenger came, that has accumulated over them little by little will now come to bite them in a big way. You know, when you have leaders like Trump running around, absolute shame is on mankind, and they bow to this moron.
Yep.
They
No, true.
bow to him, they treat him with respect. He deserves no respect. He's like Pharaoh.
Yep.
Literally, he calls himself God without saying it.
And then on top of that, he lies and lies and lies and lies. And
Then adds more lies on top of that.
Yeah.
And this is, I'm the best thing there's ever been. Like today, I was reading an article saying there is no one in the history of humanity, I'm just exaggerating, that deserves the Nobel Peace Prize more than me. Really? Is that the truth? I mean, I've finished eight and a quarter wars. What a moron. This guy is like, I mean, you can only have evil in your heart for this guy. I mean, there's nothing short of that. He's bombing, thuggery, thievery, kidnapping people. Not that Maduro is any saint, but like this guy's actions, what he's doing is beyond imagination.
Yeah,
The guy is a complete. The word that people use mostly, and I agree, is megalomaniac. I mean, he's lost his mind. The way he speaks, he's lost his mind. He has no mind left. I mean, he has no soul. Now he has no mind either. Satan has him, and he is probably a Satan himself.
yeah. Two signs kind of remind me of what's going on in the world today. Like it's God. It's like appears the war in the land and the sea with what earned hands of the mankind. Maybe they return. And the other one is probably you can repeat it because I don't remember that um, the affluent to rebel in the
Yeah,
cities.
I mean, this is happening left, right, and center.
Yeah.
When God decides to destroy a city or a generation, he commands, and his angels and the spirit command them to rebel in the earth, the affluent of them. And then he destroys them, destroying. So, I mean, this is happening for years. I've been talking about it. And it was not as apparent as it is today.
Yeah.
Today is absolutely apparent that the affluent, the ones who are rich, by the way, they are rebelling in the earth because they're losing their control and hegemony. So, what do? They flail and they kill and they murder and they plot against the people on the earth who are now getting restless because they see that their benevolent leaders are not benevolent any way, shape, or form. And they want their pound of flesh now. And they will get it eventually, obviously. Look at what's happening in Iran the last couple of days. I don't know what the reality is, but that's what happens. You think Iran is a benevolent nation led by benevolent people? They're rich and wicked. Which nation has benevolent people, wise people running them today? Not a single one.
No, no, no. Anyway, I did want you to explain to me in chapter 3, sign number 86, and the few signs after that. And in that, it starts with God saying, the Spirit saying how do we guide people after they reject, after their covenant? I'm not saying it exactly, but
Okay, so it's 86, you said.
yeah, and they reject after their covenant, and they saw the clarities and all of that. And then it says that except if they turn and they write, the God will pass over. So how do they? And then it says a few signs after that that and those who reject and they add rejection, not will be accepted. So I just want a clarification that about the rejecting that.
Okay, let's see. Let's read this and see what's
Yeah.
going on. So let's start from, and one he seeks other than the submission away, but not will he accept from him, and he in the hereafter from the loser. So when they say the religion is Islam, Islam, and they've made Islam into absolute mockery on the earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyone who seeks other than submission away, God will not accept it and he will be in the loser. So now, because of that, they make everyone deluded into thinking Islam is a religion. No, Islam is the way. The way is submission to God and to his forces, which are loyal to him, because all forces belong to God. The loyal forces are the Spirit, the angels, and us, his messengers and prophets. How will he guide the God people rejecting after their covenant? And they witnessed surely the messengers truthfully, and came to them the clarities. And the God, not he guides the people, the wrongdoing. So this is basically after you've met the messenger or messengers. In the case, in some instances there were more than one, like with Aaron and Moses and Abraham and all his sons. So how is he going to guide you if you reject your covenant, which is in chapter to sign 285, the covenant that you
Yeah.
have to make. That is the covenant we're seeking here. Yeah. The covenant, when you covenant with the messenger, you're you're covenanting with all before him, all messengers, and the angel and the spirit and God, obviously. But it starts from God, then the angels, the books, the messengers, and the end to God. Yeah, and we don't separate from any one of us, between any one of us. So if you do that, which all of them are doing on the earth, objectively, you can look at that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Those they're reaping surely over them curse of the God and the angels and the mankind altogether. So we all curse these people after God and the angels. And all of mankind will be when they meet in the hereafter. Everyone will curse, including those who are cursed, will curse themselves and each other who are going to hell. That's what's going to happen in the hereafter. It keeps happening at the end of every generation. Living perpetually in her, in the fire, not will he lighten over them the punishment, and not will they be looking. So they won't be looking around anymore. So except those who turn from after that. So after what? Not after going to the fire. People say, oh, so when I go to the fire, I can turn. Are you out of your mind? There's no coming back after you go into the fire. Turn after what? After rejecting the messengers, breaking the covenant before you go to hell, before you die, or before God's punishment comes, or before the signs of God after which you will not be able to believe, and then you earn good in that faith again and right yourself, but surely the God forgives, merciful. Many people read this and say that when you go to hell, now you can turn after that. No, there is no turning after that. Understand it. You're finished. When you die and you're a rejecter, you're finished.
Yep.
There's no coming back. You will ask to come back, by the way, and you will not be sent back. Surely those who reject after their covenant, then they add rejection. Now, this is after you reject up here in say 86. Now you add rejection to that. So you make more nonsense on top of the nonsense that you've already made by rejecting the covenant, the pure covenant that will save you. You've sullied that. And then you're adding rejection by making yourself God, making others God, making like this book into a mockery, denigrating this book, denigrating God's messengers, swearing at God, cursing God. Yeah, okay. Not will be accepted their turning, and those they the astray. Surely those who reject and they die, and they're rejectors, but not will he accept from any one of them all the earth's gold. And if they free with it, those to them punishment grievous, and not to them from helpers. There will be no helpers to them. So now, when you say, accept those who turn, so how's that going to work when you're dead and you're rejected? He will not accept. So how is he going to let you go back? No, the accept those who turn is after this, before you go to hell and get cursed by God and the angels of all of mankind. See, the book is clear, but for the morons. And I'm afraid most of them are morons and idiots
Yeah.
and cretins out there running around on the earth, understanding nothing. Nothing. So, all the earth's gold, if you had, and you freed with it that day, God ain't going to accept the turning.
Yeah.
While from us here, He'll accept the littlest penny that we give and will reward us 10 times or more for
Yeah.
that and forgive us.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I got it now. I understand. Yeah, for sure.
So,
And yeah, and there was another sign as well, and chapter 31, sign number 6.
mhm.
And it talks about the mankind that they take frivolous the story, and they make obviously they're making astray with them, everybody, and making astray over path of the God. I can see the sign here, and he takes her mockingly. So this is the her mocking. Her is
The
the path
path of
of
God.
God.
The
Okay, sure.
path of God they take mockingly.
Yeah.
Her
Okay.
points to the path of God here. We can read this and say,
Yeah.
from the mankind one, he purchases frivolous the story. So what is this? Hadith. Okay? The hadith. He takes frivolous the hadith, who is making astray over path of the God without knowledge, and he takes her mockingly. Those to them punishment lowly. So who are taking the frivolous, lahwal hadith. All these so-called Muslims, all the Christians, all the Jews, and everybody else on the earth, they make up frivolous stories or story because they make this big story first, right? God and Muhammad,
Yes.
God the Spirit, God the Holy Spirit, and His Son. Big story, right? Trinity. He died for our sins. Muhammad will save us in the hereafter.
Yeah.
And the Jews, we are gods. We can do whatever we want on the earth, and we are the chosen ones. I mean, these, of course, they are the chosen ones. By the way, don't get me wrong. I will never say they're not the chosen ones. The sons of Israel, sons of Israel, are the chosen ones for the grace of God, not for them to be gods and do whatever the hell they want on the earth and get away with it. How many generations after Moses and after Jacob, who is Israel, have been destroyed by God, who are sons of Israel? Uncounted, uncountable. They kept on getting destroyed, the sons of Israel, because they kept rebelling, and they still rebel, just like the so-called Arabs and the Europeans, the Russians, the Far East people, the Asians, whoever, Africa, they're all rebelling. They
Yeah,
all rebel
absolutely.
against God. Nobody believes.
Yeah.
They utter their belief, and they fall to the life of this world, and that takes them to hell, and before that, destruction on this earth, punishment lowly, grievous to them.
Mhm.
And then when you read over them our signs, this is talking to me, turns arrogantly over him, any one of these people, turns arrogantly, like that not he hears them, like surely in his ears heaviness, but inform him with punishment grievous. So understand this. This is what's going to happen to all of mankind. I've
Yeah.
been saying these same signs over and over, delivering them for now 18 years almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
18 years I've been doing it. And in those 18 years, mankind has become a complete pile of turd already. And
Yeah.
they don't realize it because they see beauty. They see everything being open to them, all the favors of God, all the blessings, all the technology, all the knowledge of the life of the world, and they're becoming gods in their minds. This is exactly what happens before the sudden destruction comes, and they will be confused. And they will scream and shout for help and say, we were wrongdoers. Then they will say, we were wrongdoers with all the things they're saying today. They're the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
Idiots and morons. They will see their end soon enough.
Mm.
Oh, you're just making us afraid. You just want us to stop enjoying life. That's what you're doing. Yeah.
Um,
Okay, so here's a question. Can you explain who are the keepers of the reminders in chapter 16, 43? So let's bring this. 43, 1643. And not we sent from before you except men, we inspired to them. But ask keepers of the reminder, if you are not, you knowing all of them, the ones who hold the Quran, the ones who hold the Bible, the ones who hold the Torah and the Psalms and any other book of God. They will all tell you this. They were men who were inspired in them. They weren't gods there, right? Except that they made Jesus God. So now when Muhammad came, at that time, obviously it was the Jews and the Christians only. Now, after Muhammad's gone, it's all three books are there, right? You can open the Bible, you can open the Torah, you can open the Quran, and you will see men being inspired there like me. They weren't donkeys and lions and apes or gods or angels. They were men being inspired to warn you. So go check it. If you think you're deluded into thinking I'm lying, go check what they're saying, right? They're saying exactly that, those books.
yeah.
Exactly that. All right. I think we're coming to around 50 minutes now. You got any other thing coming? One more.
Yeah, okay, it's a short one, but yeah, if you can talk about chapter 39, sign number 6, and it's about the three darknesses that the baby is created in the womb.
39. Sign number 6, you said.
I think so, yeah. Let me just confirm. Yes.
So, so he tells us, created you from soul one, then made from her her spouse, and sent down to you from the animals 8 pairs. So now, what does this mean, soul one? And from her created her spouse. So this is in this life we're talking about, by the way, the one we're currently in, not the first one. Who was the soul one? Was Adam, and made from her her spouse. How is he her? Because it's the soul he's speaking to. Her spouse, he created from the soul, but her spouse has her own soul. So what is he talking about? From that body, he took out the body of the woman and put her soul in that body. That's what is being said here. How people say the rib was taken and all, I don't know. I don't know any of that. I claim ignorance to that. However, he did it. He took from the man and he created the woman's body, and then he pumped the soul of his spouse into that body and sent down to you from the animals 8 pairs. There are only 8 pairs of animals, i.e., there are only 4 types of land animals on the earth. You can go and figure out how that works. He creates you in the stomachs of your mothers. Creation from after dark, creation in darkness is 3. That to you the God your Lord, to him the kingship, no God except he. But surely you turned away. He's telling all of us, yeah? We're all deluded, we're mystified, we're turned away. Yeah, except the very few from us like me. So, what are these 3 darknesses that he speaks about here? In the stomachs of our mothers, we cannot see, we cannot hear, and we are dumb. So, our intellect, our sight, and our hearing is in darkness. I mean, we might hear a few things, obviously, when we're growing in there, and we might see some filtered light through the stomachs of our mothers when the sun is shining, but we're really deaf, dumb, and blind. Yeah. No intellect, no sight, and no hearing. Those are the 3 darknesses we are created in the stomachs of our mothers. Are clear?
Yeah. They've made lots of stories about this as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
And then sign 71, 92, and 94 of chapter 16, I'm guessing. Yeah. I'm guessing that's I'm going to go there. So, sign 71 in chapter 16. And the God graces some of you over others in the sustenance, but not those graced with turning their sustenance over what control their covenants, but they in it equal. Are but with favor of the God they contending. So this mentions, like, if you have someone under your control, under your covenant, or who is a servant to you, you're not going to give him all your wealth that God has graced over you. That's what he's saying. So are you contending with favor of God? You're going to be equal, right? I'm going to give all my wealth to someone else and sit poor. Idiots do that, by the way. Not real people, yeah. Complete morons do that. And then sign 92. And don't you be like the one who breaks her binds from after strength breaking. So this is talking about a woman, speaking to a woman who uh, binds herself to something, whatever it is, covenant or whatever she's focused on or striving towards, and then she breaks after that. And what is it? That you take your covenant's entrance between yourselves, that you be people hear more from people. So don't take your covenants to then be high and mighty because you are in greater numbers than others. Although right now I don't have to worry about that, right? Neither none of us who are believers on the earth. Surely what he tests you, the God, with it, and who is surely clarifying to you day of the standing what you are in it, you deferring. So now when people are less in number than you and they question you or they say that what you're doing is wrong, don't make your covenants the reason for denying them that they are not under the same covenant. Say, even a rejecter. So if a rejecter comes and tells a believer what you're doing is wrong, and he gives you an example why, don't treat it as if you're doing right without insight without contemplating why he's calling you out. If you're in greater numbers, like I said, don't have to worry about this. I'm not in any numbers here, nor are the believers. So, but when they become that in those numbers, then God has told you, don't just say to someone that, you're a rejecter or you go away, we're in power. That's what happens to man. Power goes to his head. Numbers, when they're in numbers and you have a bunch of following, you make that as your guide to be the high one. Yeah, wealth, numbers. That's how we are deluded. If we have more numbers and more wealth, we get deluded. So God is warning us, don't be like that. Don't do that nonsense. And if wishes the God to be making you people one, but he makes astray one he wishes, and he guides one he wishes, and to your surely being questioned over what you're doing. So don't worry about it. You're going to be questioned. Don't think that you're going to get away with what you're doing and saying on the earth from the beginning to the end. And don't you take your covenant's entrance between yourselves, but slip feet after their strength, and you taste the evil with what you stop over path of the God, and to you punishment great. So this is what I'm telling you. Don't just say, if someone comes and tells you, hey, you're doing wrong, you need to have a little bit of insight and reflect and figure out what is the reason for a person to tell me I'm doing wrong. And then if you can't figure it out, you can get that person to explain it to you, and then understand it by the book, not by your thoughts and their thoughts. The book has to show you what you're doing is wrong or right, and what he's saying is wrong or right, not your thoughts. So this is where most of the righteous leaders on the earth will ask questions why someone is saying something to that leader, and what is the reason why he's being accused of not being right. And just don't run away with it, because you make covenants, however that is, between yourselves, yeah, to slip your feet after your strength, because you will go against the book of God. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because you believe, because you have that covenant, don't think you're not going to do anything wrong. We are all fatally flawed beings. Yeah. We will make mistakes, unless you're Jesus. That's the only one I know who makes no mistake from mankind. So unless you're Jesus, don't think that you can't make a mistake. And when you make a mistake, you need to be a man enough to accept it, which most of us are not. Us are not. We are absolute wretched people, and we will just defend our position in any way, shape, or form that's possible for us. And I've seen it left, right, and center in every way, shape, or form. That's how people are from mankind. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I think we're done for the day, and
Yeah.
we'll meet again, if wishes God, on next Saturday, 1 p.m. New York time. Till then, peace.
Peace.